Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about becoming irreplaceable or how to not be a commodity. I've been getting into cryptocurrency very recently, and I'm honestly so late to the game. I remember my boyfriend in college and his friends getting into it a decade ago, and I didn't even give it a second thought. And then in 2018, I tried to buy in to just play around with it because an astrologer friend told me that something with Uranus was pointing to crypto getting big in the future. And I went to go and sign up to buy on one of the exchanges, and I wasn't even allowed to sign up because I live in Hawaii. And apparently, Hawaii tax laws make it so that at the time I couldn't even sign up for an exchange. And yeah, I just found out, I didn't think about it ever since. And then recently, a few different synchronicities pointed to me finding it again. And I figured out that there's been some changes in the last few years, and Hawaii is allowed to sign up to some of them. So now at the end of 2021, I'm finally getting into cryptocurrency, and my Pluto in Scorpio in my eighth house loves getting obsessed with things. So I am very enthused to have a new obsession. But that is an aside, a relevant aside, because today we're talking about how to not be a commodity. In economics, a commodity is a good that has full or substantial fungibility, aka the market treats instances of the good as equivalent or nearly equivalent with no regard to who produced them. And please note that word fungibility, because we'll be coming back to that. So the market, your potential customers, sees you and your services or products as virtually the same as everyone else's. And guess what happens when you're the same as everyone else in the eyes of your potential customers? People get real concerned about your price and how it compares with everyone else. People shop around for different prices and will often go with the cheapest option. If you price your work based on what other people in your industry charge, you're acting as if your work is a commodity. You're acting replaceable. In the world of crypto, there's a new thing called NFTs. Maybe it's not new. My impression is that they're new. So NFT is non-fungible tokens. Note that word fungible again. Fungible means able to replace or be replaced by another identical item, mutually interchangeable, like a commodity, like hundreds of the exact same car on a car lot. So non-fungible then is something that is non-fungible cannot necessarily be easily exchanged for something of equal value. Art and collectibles are often considered non-fungible because of their unique properties. So think about your dog. There may be a million other Chihuahuas in the world, but the one you own is definitely non-fungible. Not like you wouldn't just pick up another Chihuahua and be like, yeah, this is fine. Come on, Sparky. It's not of equal value to another because it's not your dog. That is non-fungible. So NFTs, non-fungible tokens, according to Investopedia, these are cryptographic assets on blockchain with unique identification codes and metadata that distinguish them from each other. Unlike cryptocurrencies, they cannot be traded or exchanged at equivalency. This differs from fungible tokens, like cryptocurrencies, which are identical to each other and therefore can be used as a medium for commercial transactions. So in the world of NFTs, you see a lot of memes being created as non-fungible tokens, but the potential is so huge for our world. It could allow creators and artists to actually get paid for their work without a mediator of an agent or publisher. And I found a news source saying that Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey tweeted a link to a tokenized version of the first tweet ever written, where he wrote, "Just setting up my Twitter." And the NFT version of the first ever tweet has already been bid up to $2.5 million. So these are digitized things that are one of a kind that are able to be purchased like a piece of art. And people are actually digitizing physical things like real estate and actual physical pieces of art into NFTs to be shared and bid and sold. So what's this have to do with you? When you sell something that's just like everyone else, then you have to compete on price. We mentioned that. For example, if you're a jeweler and you sell diamond rings that look like every other diamond ring, you can compare the metal of the ring, the purity of the gold, and the weight and clarity of the diamond. But you could go to Kay's or Etsy or wherever and buy a ring if you want a diamond ring. You start stepping away from being a commodity when you start creating one-of-a-kind things. In our ring example, you create one-of-a-kind designs, maybe with rare ethical gemstones. Every ring is a work of art. It becomes non-fungible. What you create in your business can be non-fungible. It can be one of a kind and irreplaceable. It can demand premium pricing. It can demand its own audience of true fans. But you have to become a creator. You have to become a creator of one of a kind, irreplaceable things and concepts and assets. If you're copying other people's work or teaching stuff you learned from other people or your mentors, then you aren't being a creator. You are not creating non-fungible assets. And this is okay. Don't worry, this is okay. If you're newer to business, this is normal. And you just need to start working on your confidence in you having your own genius and perspective to add to the world that will truly serve. You need to get enough experience, enough time on the ground, time working with clients to create those one-of-a-kind things. That's okay. But if you are an established business owner making over 6 figures and you're feeling like a commodity, then pay attention here. You probably are having to hustle. You probably get burned out every time you launch. You probably feel like business is hard because you've put yourself in competition with everyone else. This is where niching down can be useful as one way to step away from commodity land. So a quick aside on niching before we moving on. A niche is a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. If you're in business, if you're in online business, you've probably heard about niching. But there are actually 2 ways that you can niche: a horizontal niche or a vertical niche. So like horizontal, if we think of the horizon, it is very short and very wide. A horizontal niche is when you do one very specific thing for anyone. So you do one very specific thing for anyone or a large, broad demographic. Like, for example, I help people make engaging Instagram reels. Nothing other than Instagram reels, but anyone can hire me. So that is very specific. I only make Instagram reels. I only do stuff on Instagram to make Instagram reels, but you'll do it for anyone. That would be a horizontal niche. Then a vertical niche is when you do something more general, but for a very specific audience. So vertical as in thin, but very tall, vertical. For example, I help e-commerce stores that sell dog toys with their marketing. Marketing is broad, so a very broad thing that you do, but the person you help is very specific. E-commerce store that sell dog toys. That would be an example of a vertical niche. So either way helps you step away from being a commodity. But beyond choosing a niche, this is really about leaning into your genius, truly believing that you're brilliant and you have a unique perspective, and then taking time for it to express. So what do we need to do? What do you need to do? First, look at the programs and courses that you've created or the services that you're doing. Where are you teaching the exact same things that other people are teaching? Where are you doing the exact same things that other people are doing for the exact same types of people? Dedicate yourself to figuring out how you can create a unique spin on this. So maybe that's in your social media. Think about, are you showing up like other people are, or are you being led by your inspiration? Does your branding look exactly the same as everyone else's, or is it something that is truly moved from within you or inspired by the soul of your business? Or in your messaging, are you using the same terms as everyone else? Or are you creating unique ideas and metaphors and ways of explaining things? This is your IP, your intellectual property. This is how you create your own non-fungible assets. This can also be protected by trademarks and licensing and be owned by your business. Okay? So what does it actually look like to be irreplaceable? When you're irreplaceable, then your clients and customers want to work with you for life, right? People refer you to their friends and peers. You're uncopyable, or when people do copy you or try to copy you, it doesn't fucking matter because you're already creating your next big thing and you're actually the holder of that unique frequency. You get to set your own prices instead of what is industry average. You're able to have a bigger impact on the world because you've unearthed what you're here to do and teach instead of regurgitating what everyone else is talking about. So here's a few things you can start working on today to step away from being a commodity and start being irreplaceable. First one is to do an inventory on your experience. Okay. What have you actually experienced in life and how does it impact your profession, your career, your craft? How does it give you a completely different lens, a unique lens? For example, my love of the occult and my bachelor's degree in physics and growing up with an artist for a mom give me an extremely unique perspective in business and marketing. So the next one is adding in your story and realizing everything you've done so far has set you up. So when you're actually able to infuse your unique story and all of your stories into your marketing, into the way you teach, you're making something non-fungible because this is you. Okay. So actually looking at your story, looking at your background and seeing how it can be used and used as an asset to what you've created or what you are creating. And then the third one is get inspiration outside of your industry. I tell this to my clients over and over. Stop living in your industry. True innovators find inspiration in other industries. Okay. True CEOs are looking at what is coming next and what is coming in the future. And that means actually looking outside of your industry. Okay. So for example, me right now talking about cryptocurrency, definitely not my industry, but it actually impacts what I can teach. So I'm not saying to recreate the wheel, but instead to realize that you have a unique perspective that is precious and insanely valuable. If you use someone else's process, then you could instead become an affiliate for them instead of just recreating what they've already done. But if you have a unique spin on a process, then that becomes one of a kind. Okay. So that is all for today, everyone. Let me know on Instagram, reach out, comment, and let us know what the non-fungible concepts or assets you're creating so your business can be one of a kind. I'd love to hear what you are ready to let go of, what you're really ready to step into, because a lot of us have blocks around us not having anything unique to say when that is absolute bullshit. You absolutely have a completely unique perspective and thing that you need to get out into the world. So let me know. And of course, if you want help with that, I got you. If you're an established business owner who is already making 100,000 to 500,000 in your business every year and looking to scale your business this next year without sacrificing your quality of life, then book an effortless expansion session with me. You can head on over to thedirtyalchemy.com/about to learn all about it and book your session. And I'll see you next week for a very special episode number 88, where I'm taking you behind the scenes and answering the questions you've sent in via Instagram, and I'll see you there.